Every marriage is going to have conflict, but you may have a husband who's prone to temper, anger, maybe even rage during conflict. Maybe even you have a problem with that. But today we're talking about what to do if you have a husband who's prone to real anger during disagreements. What do you do? Well, I suggest that you take some kind of action to try to kind of tamp down the fire before it gets full blown and you're scorched by the heat of that fire, if you know what I mean. So here are a couple of thoughts on what to do if you guys are in conflict and you can tell it's starting to heat up, it's starting to get kind of hostile, you're expecting at any moment the full blown rage or anger or temper to just kind of come spewing out of your husband. What can you do? Well, first thing, you can stop arguing. I know you haven't won your point, you haven't, caused him to agree with you yet, and so we tend to think we need to keep on engaging in this thing until he sees things our way. But what if you were to just stop arguing and walk away? In other words, say something like this to your husband. I love you, but I can tell we're not going to reach an agreement really quickly on this thing. So let's just both walk away for a bit and let's talk about it tomorrow or maybe even a couple of days from now. Let's just both pray about it, think about it. I love you. We're going to work this thing out, but let's just take a little bit of a time out so that we can come back together again and we can talk calmly. And then just walk away. What if you were to do that so that you nip this thing in the bud before the rage is full blown, right? Okay, second thought for you. What if you were to not match your husband's volume if it's increasing? What if you were to not match the angry, hurtful words coming from your husband? What if you were not to match that during the disagreement? What if you were, again, to simply stay calm and refuse to get into this back and forth escalation of the argument so that it just becomes hurtful to both of you? What if you were to stay calm? Now, what if he keeps on spewing hateful words, perhaps, maybe emotionally abusive words? Well, that's when you need to walk away. That's when you need to say, you know what, I love you, but I will not allow anyone to talk to me like that, and then you just walk away. And I know some husbands will even continue following their wife because they're going to continue on. Well, then maybe you need to get in your car and drive away. You do not need to subject yourself to that kind of abuse. That is not okay with God either, by the way. Colossians 3:19 tells husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. But to review, what can you do to try to nip this thing in the bud before it gets really ugly? Number one, you can simply say, I love you, but let's take a little time out here so that we can pray about this, think about this. I want to better understand your perspective, and maybe you can think about mine too, and let's talk about it again later, kind of diffusing the situation. And then secondly, remain calm. Refuse to engage in this escalation of the conflict. Stay calm, even walk away if you need to.